Good afternoon. Today I'm going to bring to you guys Benriach Smoky 12. It is triple cask matured. It is 46%, which is nice. It has a little, good God, it's got a tight cork. 46%, I like that. It's not that 40% or even 43. It gives you a little bit more oomph, and that starts to be the flavor zone for me anyway. Oh, got a good smell on the hands. Maturation, bourbon cask, sherry cask, Marsala wine cask. Oh, it says notes. Nose, smoked vanilla, charred orange, smoke level rich. Palate, dark chocolate, fruit peel, brown sugar, and smoked oak. All right, and it does say Rachel Berry is the distiller. Doesn't say anything about three cask matured for at least 12 years. And bourbon barrel, sherry cask, Marsala wine cask, which it announced. The whiskey from each cask is then expertly married together to create a smooth, creamy single malt layered with ripened fruit, aromatic smoky sweetness, and warming oak spice, lingering into a cocoa and orange smoked finish. So we should be getting plenty of smokiness in there. It doesn't say nothing about chill filtration on it, so we do not know if it's been chill filtered or caramel added. So without saying anything to that nature on there, we have to assume it has, unless we go to the website, it says something different, but I'm not doing that. The bottle, like Ralphie says, this is the contract between the consumer and the producer. So, I like the label. It is informative. I like the little bit of embossment. Like the bottle shape, not quite a traditional normal bottle shape. You see a lot. So I got a new grading system. So in the aesthetics to 1 to 10, real cork. I like that, even though there's nothing wrong with screw tops. You know what you're getting here. So I like that. 1 to 10, I'm going to give that an 8. Nose. I guess we could look at the legs a little bit as something too. It's got an oil characteristic to it. Oh, we do get the smoke. Nice, slightly meaty smokiness to it. Subtle, not strong, but there. Get some of the fruits from the Marsala casks in the background. Vanilla. That's more than likely coming from the bourbon cask. And a hint of baking spices in it. But just a hint. The fruitiness in this, it's got everything from raisins and plums. There's a little bit of fresh fruit in there too. A bit of that tannic green grape note. It's just underlying. That smokiness is right on top, but it's right underlying that smokiness. Nose is good. A little dominated by the smokiness the more you get into it. I think that's to be accepted for what it is. I like the nose. 1 out of 20. I'm going to give it a 15. I think it could be better. There's a little bit of an alcohol note coming through. Between that and the smokiness, the fruitiness is in the background, but it's there. To flavor. Oh, I do like that subtle smokiness on it though. Flavor's better than the nose. Subtle smokiness going into a lot of dried fruits on the nose, on the mouth. Just a touch of minerality in the background. The vanillas are there. Oh, there's a brown sugar note with, that sugary note with just a touch of molasses, that brown sugar, that's there. Maybe even a touch of burnt sugar in it. It's fairly complex mouthfeel for a 12-year-old. Now we're at the end of it, we're starting to get some of that youth coming through. Just a little bit of that green oak showing up there. But it's subtle, it's not something that detracts really from it. Knocks it down 3-4 points for me between that and yeah. I like the flavor. I'm gonna give the flavor a point above them. We'll give that 16. Mouthfeel. What we give mouthfeel? It's a 1 out of 20. It's a bit watery. Give it a 6. Medium finish. Not a long, luscious finish, but a medium, still kind of complex finish. The baking spices do show up in there as well. I like the finish on it. It's pretty solid. I'm gonna give it a 16 too. Value, I paid $58 for it, I think it was. Value-wise for 12, it's right in there with a lot of other 12s. I can't really say it's a good or bad value. I think you're getting your money's worth there. You can give the value an 8. Nah. Yeah, I think for what you're getting and what it tells you you're getting, I think an 8. Value-wise, if it was more expensive, above $60 for me, it might be for you, I don't know. Yeah, it might drop the value some. But a value of $58 is what I paid for, if I remember right, for a 12-year-old. For my market, that was an 8. So if we do the totals, let's see. That can't be right. 38, 48, 53, 61, 69. That brings that grand total to a 69. This new system I'm using is not my own invention. It comes from did it when I was doing a review with East Coast Liquor Reviews. I like it. It'll give me something to go back and do a lot of my other bottles with, because it's not a bad system. I think I overvalue bottles too much. With my system, without doing it like this, I would call it an 81, 82. But I pull those numbers based on everything in my mind that's going on at the time. And those times and those numbers can be influenced. I like this. It's going to give me a reason to go back through a lot of bottles and do some more re-reviews of bottles and to see what they come out on this one. So anyway, it gets a 69, which seems awfully low for this. Awfully low. Breaking out the calculator. I know I gotta be doing this wrong. Come on now. That makes it a D plus. And it's not a D. So 8 plus 15 plus 16. Oh, I see my mistake. Mouthfeel, I wrote 6 and it should have been 16. See, you gotta double check your math. You gotta double check your number you put in. 1 out of 20, I gave the mouthfeel a 6. Well, hell yeah, it's not gonna be any good. In fact, we're gonna take the mouthfeel over because it was a bit watery. I'm dropping that from a 16 to a 14 on the mouthfeel. So, if you didn't make it to the end of this video, well, you learned something. So let's clear it over and start again. I see my mistake. I see what felt a little low. Something tells you it's not right. It's probably not right. And in my hurry, I forgot to put the 1, thinking it was in there. 77. That's a high C. That is a much more acceptable score. So, that being said, we're giving it a 77. That's a high C. It's an enjoyable bottle for the price. I think if you can get it for $60 or even maybe $65 or less, because everything's increased in prices. I bought this a year ago. Everything's went up. So, you know, you got to balance it. It's all just a balance. You know, I went on long enough on this video. Enjoyed it. Thank you. Remember, the spirit in your glass isn't running from you. Take your time, sip it, enjoy it. You'll be better for it, as will we all. And everyone, have a good evening.